Hello there, guys. Welcome back to GVTV.
Today is Monday, March 13th. Feliz Lunes.
My name is Esme.
And my name is Bradley.
Here are your events for this week.
Here are some of the important ones. Baseball obviously starts their season. The first game will be against Columbine. Performing arts is going all the way to Ireland for a tour on Wednesday. And lastly, track and field is going a little closer to Cali for varsity relays.
We have a few announcements before we move on to features.
Congrats to the 10 whole students who completed the state DECA conference at the Broadmoor this weekend.
These are the people who power the future. I am certainly taking notes on these performances.
Not only this, but congrats to Rosario Cornell for placing second in American Scholastic Climbing League.
For those who sign up for Adventure Ed next year, this could be you.
Now let's move to some features.
2 weeks ago, Grandview was lucky enough to have Paula Yu come from LA to visit. Students participated in the school-wide read and were able to hear her speak. Here's a snippet of what she had to say.
So the Asian American community said, "What just happened?" So they got together. There were rallies and protest demonstrations across the country, and that led to a federal, the FBI and the Department of Justice did a federal investigation, and they realized that, wait a minute, you cannot be tried twice for the same crime. They were already found guilty of manslaughter. They were guilty of killing Vincent, but they could be tried on violating his civil rights. Did they violate his civil right to be in a place of public accommodation, the Fancy Pants Club, on account of his race? So this led to the very first federal civil rights hate crime trial on behalf of an Asian American. And back in the 80s, many people in the ACLU and a lot of people across the country did not think Asians and Latinos were protected by the Civil Rights Act. Everyone thought racism was only about black and white. So because of this case, that is why Asians and Latinos, people who are people of color but not black, are also protected and can, we can have these types of civil rights cases applied to us as well.
GVTV will have the full-length speech coming later this week.
1 week ago, however, we had Miracle Week. Here are a few quick scenes from last week. Thanks for everyone who participated in Miracle Week. I am already excited for next year's Miracle Week.
Along with this, prom is coming up in just 1 month, y'all. 1 month.
This is the dance I believe you need a date for. We want to see who's flying solo and who's going to have a night full of memories with that special someone.
I'm going to prom with a date. We met last Friday. We just met, and my friend's girlfriend set us up.
I'm going to prom with a date. I worked with them and then we started dating. I'm buying my dress this weekend and I'm just planning what I'm going to do on Pinterest. It's really great.
Going to prom with a date, man. Alrighty, so it's this gal. I've known her for a while, you know what I'm saying? We've been, we're dating about a year and a half or so. Nothing too crazy though. We're gonna be wearing matching shoes, bro. They're Air Jordan 3.
Now I don't know about y'all, but I'm pretty excited for prom. As opposed to homecoming, prom is the one that you only have 2 of.
Well, you can go to others, but in order to do that, you have to fill out a guest form.
That's true, Esme. That's a good point. Which, speaking of guest forms, they're due by April 5th, y'all. April 5th. Also, around that time are standardized testings like the PSAT 9 and 10, SATs, and the ACTs.
I'm not super excited about these, but they will really help those who want to attend a college, especially if you haven't been to a college fair. This is a great way to get your name out there for colleges to see.
Good luck to everyone taking standardized tests.
Let's close out with sports.
Now, Devin and David went around Grandview asking students their opinions on what they believe the toughest sport to play is.
I think basketball is the toughest sport to play, just because of the difficulty it takes to just get to the next level and all that stuff like that. So I think basketball is.
But I think the toughest sport to play, I'm actually changing up this time. But I think the toughest sport to play, I'm gonna have to go hockey because there's a lot of fundamentals and plus you're actually skating on ice. So I feel like that's really like, it's way harder because like you have to keep your balance and plus to try to score and not get over it and like knocked over it, it's really, really hard. So I think hockey, yeah.
Football or boxing?
Probably UFC. Does that count? All right. Probably because, I mean, you get hit for a living and you got to put your body through like all the training and stuff.
I personally think physically, football's the hardest, but like mentally and like being patient, I think baseball is one of the hardest. Keeping yourself contained, you know?
Toughest sport? Football.
And I believe that the hardest sport to play has to be wrestling. I believe that because your body has to go through so much, and you know you have to get a weight class that you have to be in. You know, some days you're not going to eat, and then on top of that you have to compete with not eating. I mean, to me that's just very hard. And then you know, like they're like this one wrestler where like he tore both of his ACLs and he continued to play. What other sport athlete have you seen done that before? I don't think any sport has done that. Like, don't get me wrong, football is very hard, you know, you do have to go through physical challenges, but I don't think anything will come close to wrestling.
I personally think the toughest sport to play is football because it's so physically intense.
You know, Esme, I'd like to argue that it's basketball. I think basketball requires a little more strategy. And you got to be a little more agile. But it's all good.
Speaking of basketball, Grandview girls basketball won the state championship over the weekend. This is their second in a row.
And that's pretty much for announcements this week, y'all.
Before we close out, remember that we are one pack.
Go
Go
Wolves!
Wolves!